Hello, welcome to another installment of my dream army, being the dwarfs. In this episode, we're going to be converting the Auric Runefather on Magmadroth. So full disclosure, my videos are all shot out of order. It's been like, I don't know, I want to say like maybe a month since I've ordered these bits. So this is not the first customization video that I've done, but it'll be the first one that you guys will be seeing. So in some of my other videos that come up in the next couple weeks, you'll see me complaining that the parts aren't here yet. So just disregard that because the parts are here now and we're all on time. So in this one, we're going to be doing the Runefather on Magmadroth, and if you remember from our PowerPoint, we just talked about using this guy as the kind of leader. Here is the bear that we have 3D printed, and I green stuffed a little kind of harness on him where there's two halves that have those together, so it's covering up the seam pretty good on there. And I sculpted some ghetto chainmail in there and stuff, and like a little bridle type deal and like a little buckle and stuff. So I think this is pretty cool bear, and it's about the right size. If you look, here's the base for the Magmadroth, and he's on this thing. So pretty good size, right height and everything. And then here's the kind of the little saddle part that's going to sit on top of this. I'm going to drill into here. That'll fit on there, where all this stuff's going to sit on. That I told you that I 3D printed because I couldn't find this piece. I'm already seeing some possible problems with this. Is that this guy, see there's a cape here, and if he has to be on top of this, there might be some problems with the cape hitting, but we'll see. Also, this arm is attached to there, and we don't really need the arms, so we'll have to maybe cut that out and see what happens. But as for bits that we have, here's some of the bits that I ordered. These are all the bits that go onto the this part, this little saddle from the kit that I was able to get. Here's our head for our Runefather. This is from the Underworld's team, so that's the head that we'll be using. Here's the flail that I was talking about that we could use for like the lashing tail bit. The flamethrower that we can use for the flame breath, and here's the backpack for it, just in case that we can do something with it. Just like keys. Here's like the little this part, because like they have this part and it sits on top of this, and that's where like the other guy goes. So maybe we can just use that or something. The little fire, some parts of the axe, little throwing axes, the fire that I'm going to be cutting probably some of this off here and just kind of gluing up here so it looks like there's a fire coming out of the top. And then these parts that came today were the ones that we were waiting for. These are the ones that were taking forever from France to get here. But it's the weapon for the Runefather, so it'll be his latchkey grand axe. And looks like it's bent pretty hard. So hopefully that sucks, but whatever. Make it work. Here's the other arm for that, and then I ordered another one of those things in for another guy, so we don't need this. But this is the main part that we were waiting for. So for this we're gonna need our super glue and plastic glue. Let's get started and see what we can do, what kind of damage we can do here. So let's put our body together first, so we can see how it's gonna sit onto the saddle. So let's take all of this, just cut those off. Cut that off. Maybe we'll use these arms because they have the armor on them, and see if they'll work for the thing. I don't think there's anything that goes in this, but if we want to cut that arm off now, would probably be the time to do that. I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to cut it off. I think we're going to chop it off. because I can just see that getting in the way. But here's this, he'll go here, and then he'll just kind of be there. I might just put a little green stuff saddle that he sits on here instead, you know, instead of cutting the model. I feel like that's maybe a better choice. So let's get this arm off. We're gonna use an X-Acto knife, and be careful not to cut myself, because that would suck. So let's get kind of lay it on its side and kind of slowly push into the model. It's soft plastic, so it's pretty easy to get in there. We'll try to cut it along its thing. Let's see if we just take the clippers and do it. See what happens. Let's just cut it here at the wrist area, and then do another cut here. And I felt it kind of move, so that's good. I'll just kind of clip away here. Cool. Where'd that go? There it goes. And we'll just kind of clean up in here with the X-Acto to get a flatter surface on. Now let's see how that looks. Looks good. We'll be able to cover that up with the stuff. So let's glue this guy together. We'll use our plastic glue. We can actually put some on here too to melt that down, because plastic glue melts the glue. A little fun fact if you didn't know that. Or it melts the plastic together, yeah. Let's put that there. Hook him together. And let that kind of set up, and then we'll actually, we'll see the head. I think we're gonna pin this head in. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get our little drill. Little pin vise here. Little hand drill. And it's set to the thickness of these, so it's 1.19 millimeters, which is the size of these little brass rods that I have, but it's also the size of a paper clip. So if you wanted to use paper clips, definitely use those. But I like the brass rods. Use them for everything. Use them for my flying bases. I use them for everything. So let me actually cut this out, because this part's sticking out and we don't really need that, since it's not really a part that's you can see on the model anyway. Let's get a nice little center point right here and just drill that out. Make sure we drill it enough to get enough of the brass rod in there, but don't drill all the way through your model and ruin it. Let's go here, and let's go right here where there's already a hole on this little part. We'll just drill into that. It should punch through at some point. We can let it punch through here because there's a lot of inside on this model. So just drill that out. Pull this out every once in a while and clean off all the stuff from it. There we go, we're through. Then we'll take our super glue, put a little dab of glue on here, and we will throw the rod in there, and we will cut it. Should probably actually, you know what, let's not do it that way. Let's be smart. Let's be smarter about this. Let's put it in his head and go that way. That way we can mess with it a little bit more. Okay, so it's in his head now. Just put a little dab of glue there. And then we just take this guy, take the hole where it is, line him up, push it together. And there, I got his head placed. It's a little far forward, but we can kind of lean it a little bit. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, it looks really cool with all this armor on him. That's a spot for a banner, but we're not going to be using the banner on him. Okay, so we got that. I think that's pretty much everything from here that we need. So let's go to the arms here, these guys, and see how these are going to fit in with this thing. They're pretty big. We might have to cut off some of these. Let's see if we should glue this to here maybe, and then work from there. Let me see. Definitely need to cut off this big old bicep. So we're kind of doing this trial and error, and we're just gonna kind of cut through it and see where we can get. So maybe we can pose his hand kind of right there, and then put the, this is a good use right here of, let's see if I can find it. We can use some poster tack and kind of sticky this in place and see how we can get it to fit, you know, because it's not, these parts aren't meant to be together, so we'll see what we can do to make them be together. So yeah, we might need like a ball of something there. Okay. Same thing on this arm, we're gonna have to cut off this big old bicep. See if we can even get it to, ooh, it's a pretty far reach over his face. If we go here, that would be putting that way up there, which, I mean, this doesn't really fit. Because remember, this guy is supposed to be like, has like a one-handed weapon on him, so we're kind of trying to make what we can work. So let's cut out this arm socket here. There's an arm socket in here. Let's take this off so we don't bend it more than it's already bent. Take that out. It's like an arm. There's army bits in here that we want to get out, so that we have as much surface as we can to have him grabbing onto that piece. Maybe I should have sanded. I should have cut this off before I went in here, but you know, we live and we learn. Kind of cut it. Good thing his head's in here pretty good, so we don't gotta worry about knocking that off. Let's turn him upside down. Kind of cut in there. Just be careful. Don't want to fucking slice your hand open. I've done it before. Pretty sure most people have done it before. It's not fun. Okay, so let's take some putty here. Put his hand, his arm. God, this thing is just fucking. Cause it's supposed to be on his side, like across his chest. But just because of how this model is, I don't think we're gonna be able to accommodate that. I mean, we might, but it just looks weird right there. And we can maybe, hold on, take this off. Let's cut this part off because we know we don't need this. Put this here. And if you wanted to sculpt the muscles and stuff, then I mean, you definitely could, but you know, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe like this. We just kind of sculpt like a different, like some fake muscles in there. That might work. Clean that off. So this might work, but for now, let's let him kind of dry up a little bit better. Let me pick this off here, so it's just not a bunch of stuff here. You can also do some more pinning in there too to help it fit better. But for now, let's put him to the side and let's work on this, on the little saddle-y bit. Let me get this and this so that I know. Those are over here. Okay, so for this, we're gonna try to make it look as close to the one as possible. We're gonna get these little runes out. There's like these little rune writing in here. It's gonna help us add some more bits to this, some GW-ness. I don't think we need anything else in here. Maybe the shield, but we'll see. So we're gonna go ahead and glue these on. Super glue is what you're gonna need for this, for 3D printed stuff. Just because it's not that kind of plastic. It's like a bioplastic. It's not like a real plastic, if that makes sense. It's made out of like corn starches and sugars and stuff. So you're not gonna get adhesion like you would if you had just plastic glue on it. So okay, let me just see where kind of this is at. I want to make sure that they're lined up at about the same height on both sides. Okay. We're also going to be gluing, put some glue right here. That's where this guy goes on. Probably goes higher, but we're putting it there. Yeah, man. This other side is flatter. Maybe I'll put it on that side. Just because it printed on this side of, this was on the print bed. And I think it just made this end flatter. But you know what, this end was up. That end was on the raft that I had to print it on. Come on. Just waiting for that to glue. Glue my finger to it. And we'll just take this, I'll stick this on here, and that'll hold it there while it glues. More use for poster tack. So that'll go there while that'll hold it there while it's gluing down. We'll put some more glue in there just to make sure it goes on. I think then we'll put on this side, we have this little horn. Probably just stick it right here. Put some glue down. Stick the horn on it. So we can call his bros or buff his bros in battle. Come on. Come on. This just does not want to cooperate today. It's like, you're trying to film a video? Well, I don't mind if I try to mess you up while you do this. Just try a little drop on there while let that go. I think the other part we're going to be putting on it is the little, should be like a, here we go, these little guys, these little axes. Because he has throwing axes, like I said in that video, so everyone's going to be able to use throwing axes. So put this on the other side. I think these are all the rest is just extra bits for the most part. Now this flamethrower, how are we going to incorporate a flamethrower? Maybe we mount it onto the side of the saddle on this side, and then it's just kind of like have the hose going in like that into the back. Maybe that works. I think it does. And then that way it's kind of like on there. Here, let's let that dry up a little bit more. Let's get the fire going here. Let's get this guy cut. This is from a Hell Pit Abomination from Skaven that I'm not using. And he has like a little firearm that is thick as shit, apparently. Trying to cut this apart. Oh, it just pops off. Okay, never mind. I'm sitting there trying to cut it. And then we'll get the fire. We'll cut it like at here to make it have like a nice little angle on it. I'll try to get it to have a nice angle on it anyway. And we'll just kind of finesse it into like a fiery looking bit. Take our files and that's fine. And that's going to go on the top here. So it's like there's fire coming out of the top. Probably don't need this backpack. Don't need these throwing lances. Those are for something else. Those are for like if you want to build a different guy out of it. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for some stuff to dry, we'll take already marked where I needed to drill out on this guy. So this is drill into the model. You don't have to drill that much because it's only use like 20% infill, so it'll just pop in once we get it, and you'll be able to just do that. So that's good. Ooh, we're stuck a little bit. Just drill in. There we go. So the bear is good. Probably not gonna glue it to the bear yet, the thing, because we're gonna, so I can paint them separately, but it'll at least slot in for now. Now this guy, I don't quite know what to do with the flail. Maybe we don't address the whole lashing tail situation. I don't think it looks that great. Oh, did I drop the piece off it? No, I didn't. Okay, I was like, did it fucking fall off? It didn't. Let's put it here. Let's put some glue down. Healthy portion of glue. I guess you could maybe pin this in there, but it's just like stuff. It's just stuff. It's like, what the hell is this? So there was like a bit that was stuck on there. Now I think this is probably glued enough in, so I can pop this out, hopefully. So I'm gonna get this out of there. And there. There we go, and we have our little thing on there. It has like a little nub on it still. Let's cut that off really fast without cutting our finger, hopefully. Nope, not worth it. Not worth it. Put this down here so we can get our fire going. Nice little smoky fire. And then for this, I think we'll drill it into the side there. I think there's a hand on it. First of all, we should get rid of that. I wasn't noticing that before. Glad I did. So we'll just cut it and then file it so it doesn't have like the fingers and stuff on it. Okay, let's get our little round file here and just kind of take those off. I have a flat file too that we can get that off the back. Then if we want, we can trying to get the fingers out the middle here. Just kind of cutting with this. It's fine. Looking good. Let's drill into probably this area that already has the hole in it. To the side here, don't push too hard. You don't want to stab it into your finger. That's right there. Just gonna back this in more. Probably put it on here while I'm doing this so I don't have an accident. Okay. Put the super glue on. Hole. We can clip it about like that far because we need it to stick into the actual model here. So hold on to the end. Save all those bits because you need those. And we'll just kind of figure out where we want it. We want it like about here. Drill it to the side here. See how that, and drop a piece. See how that fits in here. And then see how the thing still goes in there. Sticks out a little bit. We can drill it in. We can drill a little bit deeper. Okay. Do a little super glue. Place it in there. Make sure it's touching in the area here. There we go, push that in, there we go. There, now we got a nice little fumigator stuck to this. If we want to, we could maybe put this, whoops, just knock all the pieces everywhere. Maybe we can put like this, like right here or something. This is where it hooks in. Nah. It doesn't need to make sense. It's feeding through here at the fire, sucking the fire out of the chimney and shooting it out here. That's our lore. That's what we're doing. Doesn't have to make the sense to anyone else but you. So so just make it how you want to make it. There's usually like a decorative piece right here, and I might order it just because to give it something. But I don't know. Maybe I'll 3D print like a bear head to put a bear there or something. Maybe that'll be cool. So we can test fit this now, actually. Now that we're here. Let's get this up here and that in there. And get that. So we're gonna have a sweet bear with a flamethrower on its back. We can push this in a lot more. Just gotta. Awesome. I love it when a plan comes together. Now we just gotta go back to the complicated part of the dwarf. Making him work. Okay, so he should be pretty dry by now. We got these two arms. We're gonna have to use some green stuff for sure to get this to work. So let's actually clean up this space really quick so we don't have a bunch of parts just laying around that can get stuck on things and stuff. So let's just pick all that. Get all the bits because we're gonna need these, I'm sure, for other dudes that we're gonna be converting. There's some cool ones coming too because I've done some already. They're pretty short. They're pretty straightforward conversions. This is like the most in-depth one, but like I said, we're trying to use mostly GW parts, mostly. I wonder if I can put this somewhere. This little etched rune thing that came with the base on the bear. I don't know. I don't want to clutter it too much, you know. You can always add more later too. Okay. Get these back. We don't need these anymore. And what I need to do is if we're going to be doing some green stuff, I'll explain that stuff in a second, but we're going to need some water for that. So I'll be right back in 1 second. Let me just go grab some water. Okay. we got a cup of water and some parchment paper so we don't completely mess this area up. Let's put this over here, this over here, this over here. Let's get our parchment paper down. Let's just weight it down really quick. Okay, so green stuff is this. GW makes it too. Games Workshop makes it too, but it's just a putty that you mix. There's blue and yellow. And then when it dries, it's green. I mean, when you mix it together, it's green. So that's why it's called green stuff. That's what I made the little saddle part out of. But yeah, you need to use, it needs to be wet. Everything you do with this needs to be wet because it's gonna stick otherwise. So let's just get a good healthy bit of it right here. And actually you should wear gloves when you do it too, just because it gets sticky on your fingers and it's hard to get off your fingers, so just put on some gloves. Let me just grab some gloves really quick. Just came in the mail today. Let's see how good they are. Or not good they are. Okay. These look really cheap. They are apparently Nertile gloves, so they should not tear as easily because okay. So now you have it. You can take the little plastic off here. We can just dip this in our water. I'll bring the water more into frame so so you can see the water. I don't know. And just start kneading it together. You can see it's starting to turn green. Because if you remember art school, yellow and blue make green. What? You just make sure you do a pretty good job because you don't want any of that yellow or blue still in here because then those parts won't dry and then you'll have like a big mess on your hands. So yeah, so we're gonna sculpt a little kind of saddle for him to sit on the saddle, like a little high chair for him. And then we'll also gonna work on his arms with this stuff. So we'll see what we can do. I do have some sculpting tools here. Nothing like hard though. No like hard sculpting. Yeah, I do have a hard sculpting tool. I lied. So you do have a hard sculpting tool here, which is like some old dentist tool stuff. And then like it's called a color shaper. It's like a little latex end on or something, end on a stick to help you do stuff. So let's take a little bit of this. And it dries in like 24 hours. You have a lot of working time with this. You don't have to be quick or anything. Let's get this and let's put this here. And let's kind of work on like where we're gonna be having his hand and stuff. So make sure, remember, make sure you get it wet. You want your tools to be wet when you're messing with this stuff, because then it's gonna be messy. Otherwise, it's gonna stick and then it's not gonna be great. So let's put his arm kind of like right. I wonder if I can. So if we can go here with it, it still has a lot like in here. It's really far forward, but you can also see like you're kind of making a joint for you to glue it into, which that works out pretty well. Let me just get it off the shoulder pad here and make sure that the shoulder pad is clear. Just kind of push it in there. Okay. We'll take another piece. It's wet. Stick it on there. Whoop. It's fine that it's falling off right now. It's totally fine. And we'll just kind of push it in there and make sure it's kind of adhering to the body. We can kind of make a vague muscle shape with this. I think vague muscle shapes are fine, right? It's like a round kind of thing. And then we put his arm back here where we want it to be. And we take the other arm that we're going to need. And then we kind of see how far we have to go to make these meet each other. Which it looks like a lot. So, I just feel like if I could get in there, maybe this might be easier if we could just do that. Let's reset for a second. Take all this stuff out. If it's stuck, you can just get it wet and then you'll be able to move it. Give me this. Let's get this out. Here. Get that out. Get out! Oop. Let's not go that way and mess up the rest of this model. Let's use the hard tool here. So I'll get it out. Do that, make sure we got all of it off the thingies here. We don't want anything ruining our details. Okay, so set that over there. And I think if we can get this like area hollowed out more, that'll be more advantageous to us getting the arms in there farther. So let's go to our vise, our pin vise here. That's what it's called anyway. And then we'll get our bigger drill, the 3.0, and oops, be careful of that. Just the small one. So let's get this guy. Seal that up before we lose these. Okay. Take that off. Put this back on. Put this in there. Now we got a big old drill that we can kind of drill into this model with. And it's going to remove a lot of material for us. And I think it's going to help a lot with setting this arm in here. So you can see I've already cut a hole in there. We just need to make it bigger. So let's go a little bit below where we were here and then just kind of bore into there. Same thing on this side, we need to get up in there. So let's just drill into him. Just gotta kind of like hollow out underneath the pauldrons here, and that'll help us get our arms in there. Just keep switching between the tools that you have to get what you can out of it. Just remember to be careful because you're working with sharp objects and pointy objects into your hands. So, you know, the risk is real. Okay, let's see if we can get this one more bored out. Okay. So now that we've done that, let's see how we can get these guys. If this can go up in here more now, and kind of go in there. Definitely looks more natural, but without getting his arm there, like we have to get his hand up higher, and that's a problem. And that's a problem. You know, at some point we might just take this and be like, all right, well, he's gonna have the axe in one hand and then something in another hand, but trying to make it work here. It's just that his beard is so big. But how did it get across like the other model? Like, was his head back more? Trying to figure it out. Let's just keep playing with it, because we can just get it in there and then do fake vague muscle groups in there, and then we can make it look okay. Which is the theme for this army, is make it look okay. Okay, so I wonder if I can get like, you can get a little closer here. Let's get some of this off. And we can kind of stick it in there. Still, I think is really far from where that hand is gonna end up. But I think this is where we have to put this hand. So we're gonna glue that in there. Because I think this is as best as we're gonna get this side. And I think this side is the side that matters the most for like how it looks. So let's just poke that in there and get it as far. Ooh, it's bent already on the axe. Maybe we can bend the axe a little bit, but we don't want to bend it too much. So let's get that guy right there. And then we just gotta figure out this arm. The runt of the arm litter. Ooh, we got some green stuff back here we gotta get off because we don't want it to ruin the paint job and stuff, so just get it wet and it should come off. You know, it's just stuff that was on my gloves, so not a ton of it, but definitely don't want it on there when we paint the model. Let's just smooth out this area. It's a little chunky because of the green stuff that was in there. Okay. Now this arm needs to go. Ooh, it's a lot of arm that we're missing here. If we can get it here, maybe we can get it like right here-ish. even if we bent this, it's gonna be a little janky. So let's let me just clear this out a bit more. Just be careful. Ow, like that, because you don't want to stab yourself. Because he looks cool. His pose is cool. But this is freaking arm. So let's kind of see what we can do here. Let's try our best. So let's get this. We'll put it like a ball right in there. Get this kind of up to stick it there. We'll flatten this end so it looks like an arm. We'll be able to put it on top of that. We're pretty freaking close here. We're pretty, like, we could bend it technically, but we could slot his beard, put a little cut in there so that the thing sits back further in it so we can push it back. Like just cut like a line in it. But that might look a little weird. Maybe we're doing this. Let's go. Let's take some glue here. Let's glue it to the hand first and kind of see where we can go and what we'll have to do. I think that's probably going to be the better choice here. So let's just glue that hand in there. Because I might just go, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go for it. We're going to go cut here. We're going to go full sculpted to here probably. And then we'll it's just gonna get us there. That's what we're gonna have to do, I think. You're like screaming through your thing right now, no, don't do that, you can do this. And I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna cut it in half and then figure it out later. But you know, like I said, we're learning, and we knew that there was going to be some challenges coming into this project. It's cool, we lost the other back half, but we don't need that, we just need this part. Alright, so let's go here. Let's get some vague arm shapes, like we do. Oh yeah, look at that arm. So dwarfy. And then we can put this piece kind of attached to it. And we'll go like that. Okay, so he's kind of a Cronenberg right now, but we will fix it in post. Just get rid of this, push that stuff back in there, because beard. Not a sculptor, not a you know, I'm not expert at this. So you're like, that's for sure. But you know what? Let's give it a go. water is what's going to keep it from giving fingerprints and a lot of other stuff in there. Maybe we do some like weird type of chainmail look into this to make it. Now we gotta play the game where we drop something on the floor and we gotta find it. It's the game I hate the most. Oh, we found it. Cool. Okay, cool. Let me take. There's some weird shapes on this still that we want to kind of cut out of it, and it's bent. So let's just cut those out. Let's get this. Cut that little flexor muscle out right there, so it's more flat. Fits more with our theme of putty. Let's go here, actually. I have tweezers that we can do better with. Here, let's just grab onto it at the wrist here. Let's put it here. And let's ruin everything that we just did. God, it just needs so much, like, so much length that I'm like, is that even what a dwarf's arm? How far can it go? So we're probably gonna go all sculpted here. So, you know, if you wanted to, this is when you break out your anatomy books, find out, like, you know, what they look like and stuff like that. But you know we ain't gonna do that. You know we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna take it and stick it all together. And it's still not far enough. Okay, so let's just get in there, do some shaping. He's gonna have a potato arm. It's a strong hand. Definitely not mega thrilled with how this is coming along, but let's just take this out actually here. Let's work from the front back. We are making a mess in here. Okay. So step one, glue the wrist onto it. It's a good first step, and then we know kind of where to work from. And I've been saying that this whole time, but I've not been doing it, so let's put that there. It's a lot of arm we gotta build, but it'll be worth it, maybe. Got like the longest arm of any dwarf. His name is Runefather, long arm. We just gotta connect it from there to there, but that's already so much, like, whew, that's a lot of muscle that we're just making up for him to get his girth on. It's all because of his beard, his damn beard. But it's okay. It's okay. While that's drying, let's work on the kind of cushion that he will be sitting on to help him, his little high chair, his highness. So we're gonna make like a little kind of square thingy here with a flat bottom. Make sure that it fits between his legs. that. And then we'll just kind of sit him here and then go from there with how we are getting this onto get some shapies in here. Square this off. Work this into the thing here. We're just going to pull it down, give him a nice little domed seat to sit on. And we'll kind of make a little riser type of thing where he can sit on. And let's see if he fits on there. He does, kind of. Stuff still kind of sticks into the back, so we'll cut. I'm gonna cut this off the back. I'm not gonna deal with that. Leave it open for his cape to be down. And then we can put him here. It looks a lot better. It looks more like he belongs on there. Okay. Let's cut this down. Just gotta cut this down a bit because his front was digging into it a bit. So let's just cut that off. Get that off the bear. What did we do? Did we snap it? Oh shit, we snapped the plastic. We either snapped it in there or we pushed it further into this thing. Either way, it's not great. Okay. So now, let's see what we did. I'm gonna guess snapped it. Ooh, no we didn't. Cool. So we can put that there. And we can worry about that later. Okay. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. We can worry about that later. We can worry about that later. Let's worry about that later. There we go. So now he's got more of like of a thingy to sit on. Okay. And then let's just push that down. Make it look like it kind of goes down here. Same thing on this side. It's kind of, we're gonna take a little strip. Hold on, my phone is being weird. Hopefully it's been filming this whole time. Close. Okay, cool. Let's take a little strip here. And kind of make it's a flat piece here. We'll just cut it apart. There we go. So it has like a little strappy component that kind of makes it stick to the rest of the saddle. And this one we can kind of just fake it with this little piece. Let's get over that. Put it kind of here. And then just flatten it down. And then do the same thing, cut it to a appropriate thinness here. Cut it there. Get all that off, and there we go. So we got like a little, you know what we can do actually, let's take, we had a bit we can stick in there here. Let's go in here, it's like a little old man face with a fire on it. Here it is right here. And we can just take that piece and just stick it right onto it. Right there. Let's super glue this guy back in here. So that's fine. Okay, so now we need to stick this somewhere where it won't, the green stuff won't get ruined. Probably just hang it upside down right here. Okay, and then we go back to that arm, that pesky arm that's been bugging us this whole time. Give him a tentacle arm or something. Okay. Oh, we made a mess in there too. That sucks. So let's try to clean that up a bit so that we're not ruining all these cool details on the armor. Okay, so we got this little guy. We're gonna make it into like a kind of cone deal. And we're gonna do this with it. We can shape it into there, like squeeze it into there. Sorry, been pulling it close to my face to look at it, to really look at it. Let's just kind of connect it all together. Give us some make it kind of buff, fit. Well, it's not the worst thing. Let's just kind of move that around so it's not as chunky. Need to put more material here. Let's take this. Color shaper in there. It's got a little pointy end. Yeah, what muscles are these? Yeah, yes. We can kind of like fake scribe some lines on here. I want like a triangle for this muscle. Let's push it. We're getting there. Maybe I'll just paint like cloth on this so it's like he has like a cloth arm. He's got stuff covering this up. Who knows? Who knows what I'm thinking right now? Let's just get a separation here so it's not like it's that thick of an arm. Okay, so we got kind of an arm on him now. It's connected. Everything is attached. And he's got a cool pose. I think... Oh no! Oh no! And of course this happens. Let's get that out of there. What is it supposed to look like? Ooh, it's got a lot of detail in there. Alright, hold on, let's take these off. We don't need these anymore. They're getting in the way and spreading green stuff everywhere that we don't want it, so... Ooh, I got dog hair. Let's just try to pick all this out. Let's see if we can like thin it out with water and spread it around to where it's so thin that it doesn't do anything. Some paper towel, really quick. I have this up here. Just have the water out of it. What do we look like? Okay, it's not bad. Okay, so So our Runefather is done. And the last thing before all this dries is we want to put a hole in the new seed that we did so that we'll be able to keep him in there nice. So let's get our pin vise set up again with the right size drill. Tighten it down. Let's get right in the middle of him, like right here. Oof. This is, I might be able to stick it in there. Let's see. Hold on, let's just drill in here, make a little hole. Let's clear out some of this stuff here. Okay. And get our pins. We should have a little teeny guy that we have. And we'll be able to put that into here. This will also give us a nice little handy thing to hold on to him while we're painting. So. And of course we got more green stuff on him that we didn't want on him. Well, at least I know, I can tell you confidently that the other ones aren't as this much of a disaster. So, I mean, that's cool. So let's take this guy, let's put him where he needs to be. Probably about here. Take this. Oops, did I just put some green stuff? I did not. Okay, good. Let's take this and cut it at a point here. Shoot it into my leg. We'll put that. Make sure that this goes in that hole. That gets him right here. Nice. And then this will get us here. And you break it, you can break it right now. And that gives us, our Auric Runefather on Magmadroth. It's gonna look really cool when it's painted. I think it looks pretty cool now. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Psych! Okay, so, I know what you're thinking. The video just ended, and it did, but it's hours later, and I've been stewing on this arm, and I was like, this arm is freaking disgusting. I hate it. It doesn't look good. So, decided to fix it, kind of. And I did what I think I should have done in the beginning. So I had Space Marine parts laying around. So I took a Space Marine arm and I put it into the spot where the arm should be. So you're like, oh hey, his staff is broken. So I cut it and I'm drilling in it to kind of extend where it goes, so I can position the arm better and turn this. This is a all around better idea of what I should have done in the beginning. So sit, just buckle up for a bit, buckle up buckaroos, and we're gonna finish this guy out the right way, and clean up a lot of this ugly green stuff that we have on here. But still, a lot of this is gonna be under the beard, but we know it's there. So yeah, so it's like a pretty gross scrap. I cut his shoulder pad off, and I'll be able to reposition the shoulder pad after I hollow it out with some sanding a little bit more too. So it's going to be, everything's going to be fine. So I started drilling a little hole in here. It's that same paperclip size, which is kind of around the same size as this. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it'll give us a little. It's just going to give us a little bit extra space to do this. Everything else I'm happy with. Oh, also, that's not true. I had an Endered Master laying around because I'm going to be doing something with that. And the Endered Master back, and you know how I said I wanted to put something on the front here? His backpack has like an anvil on it. So I wanted an anvil on the front just to kind of give that whole dwarfy anvilness. And then I put the smokestack kind of into here, so it's like a little extra exhaust port for his little saddle piece. So that turned out really good. I'm actually glad that I restarted this video, because then I can show you all that stuff. I mean, I would show you it when I painted it, but you get to see it now kind of more in the process of it. I mean, you don't get to see me hacking up a backpack, but you don't really need to see that part. So just glue in this guy, make sure it's glued in straight, because that's the whole point of this. Okay, we'll let that kind of glue together. While we mess around with this some more, let's drill the hole into this side here. You know, like I've been saying, like this whole time, it's trial and error, and we're learning, and you know, I got to thinking about it, and you know, sometimes you just step away from a project and think about what you're doing, and that'll help you make better decisions. Ooh, that's way off center. So, I mean, that's kind of what happened. I just got to get away from it for a bit and clear my head and really think about what I wanted to do, and the ugly arm was just not doing it. I'll probably sand some of that off, like the buttons, because I mean, maybe that's the buttons that controls the flamethrower and stuff on there. Who's to say? Do you know what a dwarf flamethrower looks like? I don't think so. So yeah, let's do that. It's not in the middle, but it's okay. I think I should put his head back on now. It's interesting that it pulled off here instead of at a different spot, but that's fine. Just glue that back on. Oh, okay, we can take out some of that, all this green stuff that got stuck back here when we didn't know what we were doing. I mean, we still don't know what we're doing, but you know, when we super didn't know what we were doing. Tuck that in there, and then we gotta get, here's the hole. Where is it? Right there. There we go. Okay, so we got his head in now. A lot less green stuff, grossness going on. And then we can figure out how long this, because we can bend it a little bit. So like to here. So you want me double check this here. So let's cut it out here. Can cut more off on that. Let's just be a little on that side. Let's put this in here. That sucks because it was not straight. So I need to get that hole where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to take it off camera really quick and try to get I can go a bigger hole, I think, but then that's gonna make it a little floppy in there. But if we just go one step up from what we're at right now, I think that'll put us at a good spot. So let's just go one up here. So we're using the 1.5. That should bore this whole thing out. Come on. So it's really important to check where you're drilling the first time you go in, so then you don't end up in a situation like this where you have a big off-center hole that you're trying to figure out. I'm not liking the bending on this thing, but maybe we can take this. Yeah. Well, what we could do is we could cut this shorter. We can cut this whole midsection out and replace it with brass tubing. Be a lot more rigid, but it would also be a lot thinner. So maybe I can get it to where I need it to be. It's time for big sweeping changes. Time to put up or shut up. So we're gonna do that. I think that's probably the better option at this point. We're gonna have the two halves. Let's take this out so that it's not ruining what we need to do. Okay, so we're gonna go from here to here. We're gonna do what I should have done and cut a notch into the beard to let it go. That's just gonna make this a lot easier, and it's gonna make that axe a lot better too, because it was a little bendy, and this is gonna strengthen it. Hopefully. It's all theoretics. It's all theoretical right now, until we actually do it. So this time we're gonna make sure we're in the actual center of the hand, which it looks like we are. And it's cool that we're rubbing against the beard because we're going to be tearing that up anyway. So let's go directly into the hand. So that's good. Put this brass rod in here. And so we need to see where we need to cut. So we need to kind of cut here. Yeah, across here. Digging in a little bit on the high spots, and then going at like a V to kind of get these bits cut out, to cut like a little groove into his beard. This is what I should have done in the beginning, is just really get this thing the correct attention that it deserves. Okay. So now let's see if that helped. It did. So that's looking good now. So you can see it's like kind of resting in there a lot better. And we can, that's just a lot better than we fucking had it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to glue in this end, because this is the troublesome end, right? This is the one that's not anchored anywhere yet. And then we're gonna see how much we need. Okay, it's hard with this. Okay, let's see. About this much here, so we'll cut here. Okay, we'll test it on. Just put that guy in there. Go here. At this point, we can still raise this up a little bit. We can just pop. Whoop. I think this is gonna work. We can bend it a little bit and it's still pretty straight at this point. That gets us pretty much where we need to be. So we'll go ahead and glue it in. So put some super glue on here, but for here, where the plastic's gonna touch, I'm gonna put the plastic glue down because I think that's gonna hold it a lot better than the super glue will. We can always reinforce with super glue later. So let's take that, put it in there, make sure that we're lining it up correctly, kind of like pulling that together and just letting it kind of sit for a bit across his chest. It's not perfectly straight, but it's pretty darn straight. Let that glue up. Ooh. I don't want it to bend down like that. We want it to be up. So let's make sure that it looks straight from here. You know what? That's fine. We're gonna live with this. It's a lot better, I think, than it was. It's not perfectly straight, but we got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. So let's take some green stuff here. Just a little bit of it to kind of fill in the gap here. It's gonna help kind of set this together too. Let's make sure that we get the just get this in here. stuff is kind of set for a while, so it's a little less. It's pretty hard actually, which is surprising. I thought I had a lot more time to work with it than that, so maybe we'll just get a little, we'll cut a new little bit. Excuse me. Let's get our cutters in there really quick. Just snip off a little end here. And snip off a little end here. Let's make a mess of it. Let's take off the plastic here. So I got all stretched into this when I was trying to take it off. Everything's fine. Everything's going fine. It's not super late at night or anything like that. Oop. You know, see, now you see what I meant when I said you should wear gloves. You're like, oh. Let's mix it together. Get it out of our fingernails. Keep getting it wet with water. And let me rip off a little ball. Roll it into a ball. Place it on the wrist here. Get our tool here. Let's push all of this in here. Wrap it around like that. That gives us like a little wrap on there. Just get a little bit more, just a teeny bit. Kind of fill it in this area. There we go. That's definitely not the prettiest thing in the world. But I think that's good. Now let's do some quick reinforcement here of this joint. Because you all saw how I made that, and it's not very great. So this is, yeah, blow some of it away. Alright, cool. So now we got that figured out. Let's work on the shoulder pad, getting that back in place and filling in a little back area here. So let's take the shoulder pad and see there's just a lot of junk in here, and we're just gonna take our little file that's, and then it already is in this shape. So we'll be able to hollow a lot of this out. So it's not just a big chunk of plastic, that it's actually a shoulder pad that functions. It's nice having like a variety of files on hand, so you don't have to worry about like trying to do that with like a circle file or like a flat file. I have like an arched file, so I'll just be able to put this flat on here and then put this flat on it, and then just kind of work it. Cool. So let's take him, make sure he's still drying how we want. Make sure we don't get any like drops of super glue like we're getting right there. And we'll take our shoulder pad, kind of place it where we want it to go. Oops. We'll drop it. So we can kind of put it to the side, like back a little bit like that. I think that's the go-to, because his arm is kind of shifted here. And what this is going to do is cover up some of our crimes here. See if I can, how much of them I can hide. Pretty good amount of them, but I think that's kind of too far back. Let's put it a little bit further forward here. Oof. Yeah, no, I think we're gonna have to fill this gap with it. We're gonna fill the gap with it, push it back a little, and then we'll just put a little bit of green stuff in there to complete that shape out. So let's do that again. Let's just get our little ball of green stuff. I think no matter what we do here, it's still so much better than it was using the just green stuff for the arm. Like, that was rough. Maybe we can kind of blend this into the cape, as part of the cape, and we can hide it that way. So just get like your brush here. We'll make it look kind of like it's part of the cape instead of just a giant thing. We'll also put like a little kind of piece over the top here to kind of sell that attachment more. So just kind of take it and set it right there. It's like, this is the cape that's usually underneath this. And this is kind of like where it comes up and attaches to the armor. Like in there somewhere, like in the neck. And we can just kind of nonchalantly like wrap it that way, and that gives us more of a coherent piece. I think there's like a little piece of it in there, so let's go like that, and then that'll be like, oh, the cape connects in there, so we can paint the cape color, so have the separation of that, the arm, which is crazy. Got a lot of super glue on it. But yeah, I think that does it for him. I think it's a lot better end result than what we had. And it looks more like we posed the back a little bit more. I think this is it sells it a lot better than what we had. Just clean up in there as best I can because I made a mess in there with green stuff. And there we go. So now, just imagine him on top of the dragon, like we did at the end. And thanks for watching the rest of this. See you next time.